Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, do you think that Russians will invade from Belarus together with the Belarusian armed forces? I don't think that that would be the scenario. I think the scenario could be Russians could invade from Belarus, but without the Belarusian army. What I think it could happen, but I don't think the Russians have enough personnel in Belarus in order to conduct an offensive, but I don't know how much they have. I think they have 15,000 people. I know they brought about 9,000 people about a month ago or whenever that was, that partial small mobilization, I think. And I'm pretty sure that the Belarus will not invade anybody. Will stay over there in case the Ukrainians, probably they're afraid the Ukrainians might repel the Russian attack if the Russians attack from the north, and then probably the Belarusian army will be stationed over there, and the Russians, if they retreat, they will not allow the Ukrainians to cross the border. That's what I think could be the extent of it. I don't think Lukashenko will get involved in an attack on Ukraine. But hey, we got here the Ukrainians claiming that actually the Belarusians are getting ready to invade together with the Russians. This article, remember, put your Ukrainian lenses on, comes from Ukrainska Pravda from December 24th today, 2022. 3 battalions sent to Ukrainian border in Belarus, Joint Forces Commander. Okay. A motorized rifle battalion and 2 tank battalions have been assigned to move to the area bordering the state border of Ukraine, said Lieutenant General Serhiy Nayev, the commander of the Joint Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. And I'm quoting Mr. Nayev, right? That's his name. A motorized rifle battalion and 2 tank battalions were assigned to move to the areas bordering the state border of Ukraine. In turn, on the territory of the Kiev Oblast, it says, in turn, on the territory of the Kiev Oblast, at one of the important state facilities of critical infrastructure, a training session was held with units that carry out the protection and defense of the specified object. End quote. Details. According to the commander, the defense forces also worked out elements of countering the landing of air troops and sabotage and reconnaissance groups of the enemy in the area of the critical infrastructure object, inflicting fire damage by mortar and artillery batteries, encircling the enemy, crossing a water barrier, repelling a massive attack by unmanned aerial vehicles, and destroying hostile forces by all available means. Nayev believes that during the recent visit of Russian President Vladimir Putin to Belarus, they were talking about the involvement of the armed forces of Belarus in the war against Ukraine, particularly on land. Remember, he said he believes. Well, I don't usually how should I lend my ear to beliefs, because beliefs is something. I believe the pig started the war. No, I think that it was a cow who flew over the Atlantic Ocean. And I think that, I don't know, a crow dug a hole in the ground and got from here to China. I believe. Well, I believe is based not necessarily on evidence. So when they say here, I believe, could be a spello or a stupid word used by the author of this article, who a lot of people use the word believe. It is no author, it's just Ukrainska Pravda, the author, who use this word believe in the wrong way. If you know something, you don't say I believe, you know it, or you assess it. You assess it, that means you get the evidence and then you put it together, you analyze it, and then you come to a conclusion. Believe, well, I believe that the color black is more beautiful than the color white. I believe. Okay, good for you, Emil. So in this case, he is getting ready. Well, you should get ready. Maybe that's exactly, not maybe, I would say that's exactly what the Russians want you to do, to get ready. And that means you keep your forces over there at the border with with Belarus while we'll attack you on the east, if you know what I mean. And then you can take your units from north helping your comrades to the east. Maybe you take the comrades from the east, bring them here because you say, well, if these guys attack, we're going to take Kiev. They don't give a shit if they take Kiev, just so you know, because the command of the Ukraine already has set up a post in Lviv. That's where they're going to go, or Lvov, however we want to call it. It's already said that, and if not from there, that's about what, 20 miles from the border or something with in Lviv with Poland. So if something happens, they go back to Poland. Why I say go back? Because at one point I think the command and control centers of Ukraine armed forces, and not only, were located in Poland. There were some people claiming that, some articles actually. They believed again, so that's why I'm like, I think, I'm not certain. And how can you be certain if you're not on the position over there to really know? All we know is someone else tells us, and we have to believe that someone else. So if that someone else lies to us, there's no way to find out. We're going to hear someone else saying about what that someone else said. And again, how do you believe them? You don't know them. You don't know Gigi, you don't know Mikey. And they tell you this, like these guys. Oh my God, they're moving battalions. I don't know if they move battalions. Maybe they're lying. Oh, wait, I'm going to get the Russians. And the Russians says, yes, we don't. Now who do I believe? I believe. And why? Because these are the bad dudes and those are the good dudes. It doesn't work that way. We are, first of all, people, right? So, if I'm, let's say, an American, and let's say Americans are good, right? It doesn't mean that I'm a good person. It's what I am as an individual. I'm part of a union, an entity that was characterized, generalized as being this. So again, if the Russians will invade, without the, how do you call them, the Belarusian army. I'm 95%, at least 95, between 95 and 99% certain that will happen without, not will happen, if will happen without the Belarusian army. I said it numerous times. Belarus, whatever, doesn't have any advantages by invading. And if someone tells me, they do whatever Putin wants them to do, I don't believe that either, just to use that word loosely today and in a pattern. No, I don't think so. I don't think that Lukashenko needed 11 months or 10 months to be pressured by Putin all of a sudden, and since Putin is losing, he doesn't have any aces in his sleeve anymore to compel or make Lukashenko attack. Or moreover, now Putin pushes his buttons because he's losing. Who's losing? The score is still 10-1 for Russia. So I don't know what the guys are talking about. I'm talking about these guys who tell us that, oh my God, Russians are losing. How come? Yeah, they had setbacks. That means from 27% of the Ukrainian territory they achieved at the beginning of the military operation, special military operation. Right now are 18. So that means they're still 10 versus 2. So we scored 10 times, you scored 2 times. Who's winning? I mean, who's winning? You go to the casino and you play and you start with 0. You get to $2,000 at one point, and now you're just with 1,500 at one point. Are you losing or are you winning? You're up 1,500, so you're winning so far. Well, it's not how you would like to become a millionaire that night, but it takes time. The war is not over. The war is not over. The casino time is not over. You might be losing the whole thing, which I don't think that Russia could do that unless Putin is done with all his buddies over there. Otherwise, not have a loss. Because if it gets to that point where they push back, which I think it's an impossibility at this point, they will probably say, we're going to use this, back off. And they will back off. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.